Hello there.
That's a happy puppy.
Rocker. Rockaroo.
All the blood's rushing to your head.
Oh. I know, right?
Your eyes look so blue. Open them. Oh my god.
I can feel it.
Okay, maybe you should get up before you pass out.
How do some people hang upside down for so damn long?
So, last time we vlogged, Ricky had a bump on his tongue and we left him in Fort Myers to get a biopsy. So, we waited, I guess, about 2 weeks for the biopsy results, and it was cancerous, and it was deep in his tongue. It reached the midline of his tongue. Which made it inoperable. So the vet said that he wouldn't be able to operate on it because if he did, he would basically...
It would cut through the muscle in the midline of the tongue, and therefore he wouldn't be able to move his tongue, and he wouldn't be able to eat. So essentially, when we first got the prognosis, it was a matter of time before Rocky dies, essentially, because we either have to put him down, or we let him live with the tumor, which could metastasize and spread to the brain, spread somewhere else. Not to mention, it was in his teeth that he was biting it, it was bleeding all the time. It wouldn't be humane to keep him alive. So we were referred to a oncologist, a doggy oncologist, which, let's face it, neither of us have the money to afford radiation or to afford doing any kind of exploratory procedure. Like essentially, neither of us have enough money to afford to take our dog to a specialty oncologist, simply because of the cost. Like radiation for a dog, like, there isn't any kind of dog insurance, so there isn't any kind of like medical program. So it would have cost us like $10,000 to $15,000 if we wanted to go through the radiation route, which was just out of the question. Like, I'm in college, Brooke is fresh out of college. Like, we're by no means rich. Fast forward a week and a half, we realize like we're facing our dog dying, which is terrible because it's like he's 3 years old. Like, he is a very young, healthy pup for the most part. So we decided, look, we're not gonna put him down right away because that's his only ailment. We're gonna see if we can somehow have Dr. Kroll, our family doctor, take the lump off. Holy light reflection. Take the lump off. So yesterday we drove down from DeLand to Fort Myers. It was about 4 hours, and decided to have Dr. Kroll try to take as much off as possible, and we just buy him some time. So we're not ready. We are not ready to put him down. This isn't an option right now, and he's healthy besides that.
But at the same time, we decided that we're not gonna make him suffer through anything, and we don't ever want to put him in a situation where he's uncomfortable.
Yeah. So we brought him down to Dr. Kroll, and today he had his operation. And Dr. Kroll straight up said at first, and it was disheartening. He's like, look, I can't get it all. Like, there's not much I can do. If I take it all off, I might as well take his tongue out, and at that point, we'll have to euthanize him. There's no point. He's gonna die.
He can't live without a tongue.
So we left teary-eyed, preparing to hear the worst. A couple hours later, that there wasn't much that he could get out, and he was able to cut off most of the lump, enough just to get him somewhat comfortable. And I'm sorry, there's nothing else he could do. But Brooke.
So I'm riding around with Curtis's mom, and we had to get a few things done. We were kind of just killing time until Rocky got out of surgery. It had been a few hours, like 3 or 4 hours since we took him in, and we get a call from the nurse, basically the receptionist, and she says, okay, Rocky's out of surgery, and he should be ready around 2 o'clock today. We're sending his biopsy, by the way, and you should get results, in a little bit. And we're like thinking, we didn't get a biopsy, we biopsied him a while ago.
We already know it's cancer. What do you mean?
Yeah, there's no point in biopsying him again. We already know. So then Curtis's mom, who used to work at a vet office, she mentions, well, maybe that could be good news. Maybe they were able to remove most of it and get clean margins, and maybe that's what the biopsy was for, to make sure that they got clean margins. So we go around a little bit more, and we're waiting until 2 o'clock, and the doctor calls us. And he sounded so excited. His tone had completely changed, and he said, "Great news. I did not expect this to happen. This is a miracle, and it's amazing, but I was able to remove the whole tumor." And
Yay!
which is amazing because it basically was encapsulated, and when they did the first biopsy, it pulled out of his mouth, basically. And we have pictures. I don't know if I'm going to insert them here or not because they're really graphic for YouTube, but basically the whole tumor came out. It created an opening for it to come out of the tongue, so it wasn't in the midline of the tongue anymore. Now it had its own like little cavity outside of the tongue.
It was forced out to the side. Where before it was the middle tongue, it was forced out the left.
Yeah.
Where it expanded.
And he said, you know, there could still be cancer cells in there, and that's why they did the biopsy. And he said, you know, you'll know because if it starts healing, great, no cancer. If it heals, great, no cancer. If it doesn't heal, we know that there's still some cancer cells, and then we'll have to go from there. But so far, so good. That's way better news than we ever expected to get. And I mean, if we're lucky, the whole tumor is gone, and we don't have to worry about this anymore. And so now, today's the day that Rocky had surgery, and we are driving home.
And Rocky's in the back of the car.
Yeah. Our puppy's
You can probably see him back there behind us,
Yeah.
kind of zoning out. He already doesn't like being in cars, and then he has like a bunch of drugs in him.
Yeah.
So he's like out of it.
And we only got 3 hours of sleep last night, so we look like absolute caca.
Yeah.
So, because we had to drive after both of us got off work last night, we had to drive all the way to Fort Myers, and then wake up at 6 this morning to take him into surgery.
But fantastic news. We could not be more happy with the news we got, because we were literally preparing to have to put Rocky to sleep in the next month or so. Like we were dealing with it. And that is no longer an option. That's no longer something we have to prepare for. It doesn't mean that he might not be cancer free, but we don't even prepare to put him down because there's a tumor that's growing inside of his tongue, because the tumor has been removed. So
Looking up here.
it's fantastic. Rocky, say hello to the camera. This vlog is all about you.
And it's kind of gnarly, guys. He's like missing a huge chunk of his tongue.
Yeah.
But I mean, the doctor said his tongue will be deformed, but if he's cancer free, it's
he can
worth
still
it.
drink. That's fine with me.
Yeah. So, alright, guys, just an update. That's why we didn't post last week.
We were dealing with a lot of emotions and stress, and the last thing we thought about was filming. So, but we're back at it with updates for the pup.
Okay, bye,
His car
guys.
was fucked up.